For those who are new or unfamiliar with my content, I would like to give a disclaimer. Slow Damage has an extremely self-destructive main character, and his nonchalant comments about his lack of concern for himself does trigger my nervous laughter. If you'd like to view my content that covers darker and triggering subjects like this one, please consume it responsibly and know that this content is not for minors. I want to emphasize that if you experience any of the severe symptoms that Towa does, I highly encourage that you seek professional help rather than view this playthrough. Good evening, and welcome back to Slow Damage Part 16. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Slow Damage. Last installment, what did I do? It's early in the week and I'm already suffering. Okay. So, last we left off, we finished Ray's route. So far, I've been fortunate. I have gotten, I believe the good endings. Well, for Ray's ending, it was definitely the good ending. For Taku's ending, I think I got the good ending. I'm not too sure. I've been quite lucky. However, these next two guys, they scare me just a tad. Not scared, that's the wrong word. I'm intimidated. Not scared, intimidated. The only person who scares me is Towa. When I thought Asakura was a different kind of person, but that's a different story. Anyway. Okay, so today we're going to try and get us on the right path to finally meet Madarame. He's the only character I haven't met yet, like physically. Or did I? I don't think I have, right? Yeah, I haven't met Madarame yet, and Madarame is the only person that Towa has really been like, I don't want to talk about him. Besides like his mother, but he doesn't remember his mother at all, you know? Yeah, he's like, Madarame is the only person he shows like kind of high distaste for, which is a lot for Towa. I wouldn't say hi. You know how Towa is. Usually he's like whatever, but it's like with Madarame, he was like, I don't want to talk about him like at all. And I'm like, interested. So I don't know. Also, I don't know anything about Madarame. I've only seen like a picture or two of him. You know. And then I know Fujieda is the last route. I know he's technically the true route. It's hard not to know who the true route is in these nitro+chiral games. Because usually the true route is like an extra character, quotation marks. But in this game, there's 4. You know, it's 4 and not a secret 5. It's technically, it's two regular routes, Madarame, who needs to be unlocked, and then Fujieda, from what I remember. Yeah. So today, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go Iguina. I feel like Iguina is like, oddly enough, when I first started, I was like, oh, Iguina is like buck wild, and I was just like, oh man. you know, this is definitely setting the tone for the game, right? But Iguina has become a source of support for me, a source of safety, because Iguina is quite safe when I think about everything else I've seen so far. So, have mercy. But yeah, Iguina has become my little buddy. You know, he leads me in the right direction. That's terrible. Okay, but anyway, okay, and also when I went to go look to make sure I could how to get Madarame's route with minimal spoilers, I discovered that there is no second chapter when it comes to Madarame and Fujieda, because Madarame's chapter goes straight to him. So there's only chapter Ikuina's chapter 1, and then Madarame is chapter 2. So I'll just put that out there. And then Fujieda is a little different. He has a we don't have to go through Iguina. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For now, let's finally meet Madarame, and let me see what's up with this dude. I have a feeling he's a particular archetype. This particular kind of archetype, I either really hate or I really like. So, from what I'm assuming. So let's see what the homie's all about, okay? Okay, so from what I gather, I have to play... Okay, here we go. Let us... Okay. I will see you guys in just a bit at the end of Iguina's route, because we gotta get this information. We gotta get all this stuff and we'll do it to it. Okay. See you in a bit. We will. Okay. I think we've reached it, right? Okay. I think this is correct. So we're gonna give it a go. Okay. Hold my hand, everyone. I don't know what's gonna happen next. This is looking sus. Oh boy, here we go. He still scares me a little, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Oh! So it can burst before you even get the... Oh! Oh ho 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 ho. Uh-oh. Oh boy. This is different. Oh my gosh, okay. And so Iguina and I slashed each other to his heart's content. For some reason, neither of us could stop, and we both went a little overboard. But even then, we didn't hit the brakes. If anything, the passion only built. The next thing I knew, Iguina was lying next to me in a sea of blood, his complexion ashen. I figured we had both probably passed out at some point from the blood loss. If we hadn't, we might have killed each other. Ooh. That was just how intense it felt in the moment. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. I saw your insides. They were they look at this rate. I can die happy. Oh, why are they weird? Why is it weird? Oh my gosh. Ah! Nice. Ah! Eee! A week after my hospitalization, once I was barely able to move again, I started camping out of my room to paint. Before Iguina's contribution faded away entirely, I puked it all out of my system, sadly drowning my white canvas in paint. Now that I'd entered the painting stage, I became a single-minded robot. Neither Taku nor Rei tried to interact with me. They just watched from the doorway. So, I think this part is probably the same. But, I do want to say that, he didn't call anybody. Told either call Rei or Taku. And like Towa said, he didn't stop. Like, they didn't stop. So Iguina just passed out from blood loss. So instead of calling... Sorry. I'm like, they said, keep you on your toes, B. Okay. Let me see. Anytime they tried to speak to me while I was painting, I just ignored them. Ah, okay. I didn't even turn the TV on like normal. If at any point my brush fell still, it was so I could stare blankly into space or pass out on the floor. By this point, they both just let me do my thing. Generally, the painting would take anywhere from a week to a month to reach completion. After Iguina's Euphoric episode, I called Rei, told him the name of the condo building, then passed out. I couldn't tell you what happened after that. When I next awoke, I was lying in a hospital bed at the clinic, probably Rei's doing if I had to guess. He and Taku stood at my bedside, looking deeply concerned. This was far from the first time that a euphoric episode had left me on death's door, so I figured they'd be used to the whole rigmarole by now, but something was different this time. Their smoke was dull and muddy. So I would soon learn it was because of Iguina. Did Iguina die? Iguina had died at the Takanokuchi medical office. He was discovered to have hanged himself in the hospital room early that same morning. Why? People with unspeakable desires were forced to choose between hurting others or bottling it all inside and hurting themselves. The agony of it drove them mad, and when they could no longer suppress it, they reached out to Euphoria. Likewise, it wasn't unheard of for some to kick the bucket. Personally, I couldn't care less what happened to my models after I finished painting them. While I was hospitalized, Taku and Rei took turns tending to me. Because my model had died, they nagged me about the dangers more persistently than ever before. But I had no intention of stopping. Their attempts to meddle only pissed me off. Ooh. As far as I was concerned, no one had the right to judge us as long as both parties consented. I mean, he's not wrong, you know. Ikuina is also, like I told you, Ikuina scared me, bro. Like, you know, he just was like, let's get it. And I was just like, you're gonna perish. Like, you're absolutely gonna perish right now. After that, once I was able to walk again, I went back to my room and started Iguina's painting. Yeah, so this time Towa was like hospital, slow damage. Towa was like hospitalized. So I think we're here. I think we're here. Is that the Moni? Or is that like a bullet? Like, is that... Well, I'm assuming that's the moon because that's probably water now. What's up? Oh. The hell with connections and moral obligations. How do I stand to benefit from letting that weigh me down? I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm going to live my life my way. Get it? The same applies to what's happening now. Trust me, it's not sympathetic revenge. That said, there was no need for him to die. And besides... Towa? Who's saying this to me? Who's speaking? Who this? Have you come? Madarame K. Immutable? Immutable. Oh. Oh. The moon. Okay, that's definitely the moon because that's definitely water then. Is it a different painting? Since, you know, Iguina died. So. After 2 weeks of non-stop painting with barely any food or drink in my system, I was completely emaciated. This happened every time I painted something, so I considered it a part of the Euphoria process. Taco and Ray understood this, so they stayed out of my room while I was working. In return, they made it explicitly clear that they wanted me to contact them once I was done. Seated in front of my finished painting, I pulled my cell phone out and sent them a message. Is it? I'm always just like, do I remember if the paint is different on his fingers? Because, you know, CGs have variations. You know, if you've played enough like Japanese visual novels, you'll know the variation of paint. You know, the variations of the CGs. You know, they look a little similar, but ever so slightly different. You know. Okay, let's go. It was late in the evening, so there were probably a lot of patients waiting downstairs. Nevertheless, I heard the sound of rushing footsteps.
Towa, 大丈夫?
I don't know, are you? It's a little different this time, you know. Okay, so it's not different. Ray came running in. His gaze was quickly drawn to the canvas just behind me.
完成したんだ.
Oh yeah, baby. Okay, so their attitudes are different because Iguina is dead. So, oh boy. I knew this dude was gonna die. Like, I was just like, ain't no way this dude ain't gonna die. And then he didn't, and then it was like, oh. Inside I knew I was correct. I just had to be patient to find out that I was correct. It's terrible. Okay, I hate it here. Okay, nearly finished it, huh? His voice sounded like he was holding something back. His smoke kept shifting in brightness. Oh? Oh? He stared at the painting. The person who inspired this artwork was no longer with us. Maybe that was the reason Ray didn't celebrate my latest piece like he usually would. Instead, he looked conflicted.
後で写真を撮ってお店のブログに投稿してもいい? 店長が見たいって言ってたから。
Yeah, his tone is really different.
ありがとう。体調はどう? タクが傷の具合を見たがってたわよ。あと何か食べたいものはある?
Cigarettes and booze. Once again.
Sake.
Yeah. Oh, he says sake. Okay, sake. Sorry.
それはダメ。適当に買ってくるわね。タクも一段落したら様子を見に来るって言ってたわ。
As he spoke, he turned back to the door and left the room. I let out a small sigh and grabbed the pack of cigarettes lying at my feet. As I raised one to my lips, my fingers brushed against them and I realized they were chapped and peeling. I didn't drink much water while I was painting, so my throat was parched. Additionally, I felt massively lethargic to the point that I couldn't will myself to get up. I lit my cig, took a long drag, closed my eye, and exhaled. Then I looked down at my cell phone. I had received a few emails while I was painting. There were 5 in total, all of them model requests. Well, duh. I generally rejected any requests from women. Sometimes I could be convinced if the details were especially intriguing, but women made me uncomfortable, so I preferred to avoid them. Okay. This is what I was like. This isn't, yeah, this is actually like totally new information. Well, new-ish information. Because in the other 2, he doesn't mention this. Because again, this is Madarame's route now. So yeah, I was curious about the whole women, him being uncomfortable around women. Because the only woman he was like sort of okay with was Lisa. Was the homie Lisa from Taku's chapter. He was only ever so okay with her, and even with her was like, you know, who else was he gonna talk to? And he kept getting beat up because of her, just because they were talking to each other. So I'm surprised he kept talking to her. Well, I mean, they needed her to get out, so that's a different reason. So anyway, none of these 5 were especially eye-catching, but one managed to stand out from the rest. With my cigarette between my lips, I sent a response asking to meet up with them tonight. I would always invite potential models to a random bar so I could find out if they were a good fit. Unlike Iguina, most models weren't willing to put their lives on the line for their euphoric episodes. Once they were given the chance to explore their dark desire, there's no telling whether it might spiral out of control. In a sense, that was part of the fun, but when things got out of hand, more often than not, we'd both end up gravely injured. In Iguina's case, he had driven himself to his own demise, but that was hardly my problem. Euphoria's entire purpose was to lend a hand to those who asked for it. The potential applicant responded immediately, agreeing to meet up, so I sent them a meet-up time and the address of the nearby bar. I chose not to meet up at Roost since too many people would recognize me there, but I was so hungry I could barely move. Fortunately, Ray had gone out to buy me something, so all I needed to do was get some food in me. Truth be told, long after Ikuina's euphoric episode had ended, I still felt like something was smoldering inside me. First, I figured painting would help, but the feeling still persisted. This was no mere indigestion or anything of the sort. It was an itch I couldn't scratch. He's unsatisfied. He's still hungry. Not to be a punny, but yeah. Not to suggest that Ikuina's euphoric episode had left me wanting. Because I couldn't place the feeling, it gnawed at me, frustrating me. And it was this incomprehensible urge that drove me to seek out another art model as soon as possible. Yeah, so now he's like really hungry. Like it's the, you know, like he said, he's not unsatisfied with Iguina. It's like he's not it didn't satiate him enough. Not satisfaction. Like not satisfaction in the way that like you know what I mean. You guys, my vocabulary is terrible right now. But basically it's making Towa rush to the next thing. You know, usually Towa takes his time, and now he's like, let's find another one, let's go again, you know, instead of being like, okay, let's wait for the next like promising young what is it, what's the name of that movie, Promising Young Woman? If you guys have seen that movie or you know what it's about, it ends very tragically, so that's what I'm kind of referring to. He's like, who's the next tragic person to come my way, you know? So hopefully it's not Iguina style, Madarame route. So, dang, I can't believe they. Right after I talked about how Iguina brought me peace, and this time he did not bring me peace. This time he was buck wild. Iguina was also very, very unstable. So you know, yeah. Anyway. Oh, it's already buck wild, y'all. Once Ray returned with some food and drinks, Taku showed up not long afterwards. Just to be safe, he checked my injuries and overall condition, then criticized Euphoria even more harshly than usual. Sure enough, Iguina's death seemed to have something to do with it. Both Taco and Ray looked unusually solemn. But I wasn't going to stop, nor was I about to change my methods. Perhaps they were exasperated with my lack of outward emotion, or maybe they had just given up trying to change me. Either way, they informed me that I had received a package, then left the room. I didn't remember ordering anything. Regardless, I didn't have the energy to go all the way downstairs to retrieve it from the staff room. Instead, I waited until it was time to go meet up with the prospective model, then headed out to the bar we agreed on. Random. This is the random bar. Yeah, this is how you know it's the random bar, because it's the back. You know, the BG is not as fancy. It's like the wood. The wood. The whole place is made of wood minus this one brick wall. Oh goodness. Ooh, I'm in for a doozy, huh? Hasn't even been that long. When I got there, my applicant had arrived ahead of me. He greeted me with nervous excitement. He looked to be about 25, and his dark desire was to choke someone during sex. Okay, no, you are not a candidate. Pretty tame for a euphoric episode, but I agreed to it regardless. Normally, I would have rejected it outright. Yeah, it's pretty tame. But right now I was more eager to get rid of the bizarre feeling that plagued me. Together, we headed straight to the nearest love hotel. Okay. There were no employees at the front desk. It was all 100% automated, with a machine that dispensed key cards. We picked the cheapest room, then boarded the elevator. Oh, it turns off if it's taken. Oh, work. They said, nah. You can look at the room empty. Nothing else. Unless it's just a photo. I don't know. Ooh, classy. I like how the phone is like where the pillow is. There's this long top area and nothing but the phone. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I had to mention that. Inside it looked like your average hotel room, save for the telltale vending machine full of amenities. The corners of the walls and floor were weathered with age, and it didn't look clean. Yeah. This one is not the business, but that's okay. But this was the best quality anyone could expect here in Shikomi, so I wasn't gonna complain. Yeah, they are in Shikomi. Like it's not the mainland Japan where we could get some good goods, you know. Okay. Ooh, okay, girl. I wasted no time probing him about his true desire, and then we climbed into the bed without even taking a shower first. I mean, what's new? The model was strangely worked up. He teased my body, put him in, and then immediately started choking me. As his thrust grew more intense, his thumb tightened against my windpipe, and I felt the urge to puke. Oh boy. With no way to breathe, my intraocular pressure skyrocketed. And as my consciousness started to fade, I wondered if I was about to die. But if so, I was fine with that. If I died, sorry, I heard a ringing and I wasn't sure if it was the game or my ear ringing. If I died in the middle of the euphoric episode, then so be it. Right before I could pass out, however, the man loosened his grip. He had reached orgasm before I asphyxiated. Well, that's a good thing. As soon as I was freed, my body gasped for oxygen of its own accord, and I started coughing. Now, I was worried I might hyperventilate to death. By the time I finally caught my breath, the mysterious discomfort had come back in full force. What is it? Afterwards, the model thanked me and left with a satisfied grin on his face. Frankly, the sex was terrible. I mean, I bet. If that literally is if that was literally all he wanted to do, It must mean it means he sucks. Woo! Okay. Oh, sorry. Towa was just like, whatever, let's go. And he's like, still disappointed. It hadn't alleviated my strange condition either, so it was all a waste of time. That was my fault for settling for less than I usually would. see, even Towa's just like, that's what I get for settling, you know? Woo! Okay. Ooh. Oh gosh, I'm trying to... I don't know if my laughter is nervous anymore or if it's like, you know... I can't. Okay, sorry. Woo! Okay. Have mercy on me, man. Okay. Howdy. Exhausted, I got dressed and left the hotel. He's gonna have like a huge bruise on his neck if it made him like almost asphyxiate. It's 3 a.m. Oh, he didn't even wash his hands. Or wash the paint, I should say. He probably did wash his hands, but he didn't wash the paint. To be fair, if it's that kind of paint, it's not gonna come off that easily anyway. It's probably just really dry. As I stumbled down the road in the direction of the clinic, cigarette between my lips, I pulled out my phone. For the first time, I noticed I had a bunch of missed calls and messages, all from Taku and Rei. They were demanding to know where I had wandered off to in my current condition. I mean, you know, I don't blame them. They were probably both at the clinic waiting to ambush me the moment I walked in so they could nag me until daybreak. The thought annoyed me, but I knew it would only get worse if I didn't go home. I took a long, deep drag and trudged down the dark street. Man, slow damage. Blue? Ooh. Ooh. Blue. When I arrived, sure enough, Taku and Rei launched into a lecture. Afterwards, I went upstairs, flopped onto the sofa, and slept like a log until evening. Normally, I was something of an insomniac, but even my body was smart enough to want rest after a painting sesh. Taku understood this too, so he let me take the next few days off work. Ooh. 5:42 p.m.? Have I ever seen this room in like evening sunlight? It's very sepia vibe. Very sepia. I slept so deeply that I woke with a migraine, so I grabbed the floor bottle and took a lukewarm swig of booze. Then I had a long smoke and watched TV. Once the haze in my mind cleared away, I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray and got ready to leave. What about the package? I want to know what the package is about, Towa. I left the TV on, pulled out my coat, and walked out. This chapter totally shifted the mood, so I'm just like, I'm once again very paranoid. This game is really good at making me fear. Making me feel anxious. After I'm just like, I do not fear, I'm just intimidated. And then I'm like, I have fear, I lied. Down on the first floor, I opened the front door and was met again with a gust of chilly air. Oh, why again? With, not again. It was just past 6 p.m. I figured I would head over to roost. What about that package, Towa? Oh, wow! To me, the bone-chilling cold was comfortable. I contemplated finding some guy on the street to hook up with, but thought better of it. I just finished a painting and another euphoric episode. I didn't have the energy to do that right now. To do anything. You said anything. It wasn't even really a euphoric episode. It was just like some dude, like... As I headed downtown, the passers-by on the street grew more plentiful. The city was decked out in Christmas decorations and classic songs played over the loudspeakers. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting it's Christmas even though I've played this twice, but I think it's because, like, Rei very much focused on Christmas, both times, but, like, Taku, at one point we were, like, removed from the world in Taku's route, whereas, like, Rei, no matter, like, we weren't removed, we were, like, we were like kind of hovering around Ray, basically. So yeah, I keep forgetting it's like Christmas, New Year's kind of thing, timing. Whew. The city was decked out in Christmas decorations and classic songs played over the loudspeakers. I don't want a lot for Christmas. Sorry. Sorry. Everyone who walked by was all smiles and laughter. The Christmas spirit at work, I guess. Then I spotted a kid clinging to a store display window, tugging on his mom's hand and begging for something. He pointed to a big teddy bear sitting on the windowsill. The sight made me avert my eye. Oh, it's that scene. For whatever reason, I didn't feel comfortable about it. Aside from the cold weather, I hated the month of December. I couldn't explain why, but it repulsed me. For most people, particularly those who lived on the mainland, Christmas was a time of love and hope and joy, but Shinkomi was different. He cheered. Okay, so this is a repeated scene, but you know, we'll click through it. So they're talking about this again. So this is I figure this is gonna come up later. You could step over a corpse and not even notice. Yeah. Just then, I stopped short and looked over my shoulder. Felt like someone was watching me. Is he here? Is he here? I looked around but didn't spot anything unusual. Maybe I was just imagining things. With that thought, I kept walking. Ah, yes. Christmas is coming. Ah, yeah. As I passed under the flashy neon sex shop signs, a familiar face caught my eye.
Eiji.
Eiji! Bestie!
Towa-san.
Oh, finally, I feel peace. I was just like, ready to talk you scare me right now. So, Eiji is a welcome face here. Okay, Eiji and Igarashi. Okay, my only lights in the darkness. Oh, does this chapter not have exploration or free exploration? No, it's gotta have free like exploration. That doesn't make sense. Okay, JK. It's just that I was just like, oh, or at least like semblance of the exploration, you know? Okay. Eiji looked up from his cell phone and jogged over, smiling.
どうしたんですか? どこかの店にいようですか?
Fine. Why would he go to one of those?
ルーストへ行く。お前は?
担当の店の様子を見に来たんです。これでも一応高里組の一員。
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, isn't one of his? He got to take care of one of them. Sheepishly, he tugged at the brim of his beanie.
本当は小太郎さん、まゆさんと一緒に来る予定だったんですけど、二人は急遽他の店に行かなきゃいけなくなっちゃって。
Their stores, baby.
酔っ払った客が暴れて店に迷惑かけてるとかで、そういう時こそ
drunk
あの二人の出番って感じなんで。
Gotta take care of the drunk guys, send in the muscle.
確かにな。
Eighty's just like, okay.
僕はともかく小太郎さんとまゆさんは今すごく忙しいみたいです。A 特区が荒れてるからそっちにもよく呼ばれてるし。
Isn't District A the deathmatch area?
何かあったのか?
集団で暴れてる奴らがいるんですよ。わざわざ全員黒い服で揃えて無差別に人を襲って楽しんでるらしくて。
That's Kirihara.
放っておくと調子に乗りますからね、そういうのは。それにクリスマスに正月と年末年始はイベントが多いからトラブルも増えるんです。
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
榊さんが組長確定っていうのもありますしね。トーノさんと榊さん仲が悪いでしょ。
Yes.
しばらくはいろいろありそうです。
Of course they're on bad terms.
変な薬が流行ってるとか幽霊がうろついてるとかおかしな噂だらけなんで、トワさんも気をつけてくださいね。
Taku's drug. Well, not Taku's drug, but the street drug, the ghost wandering around town, is formerly Iguina, but Iguina has perished. Ghost. I'm pretty sure that's Iguina is who they're referring to. But I don't know. I mean, they might be referring to someone else, but. Shaking his head sadly, he exhaled a cloud of white fog.
それにしても寒いですね。 1年経つごとにどんどん寒さが厳しくなってる感じで。トワさん大丈夫ですか？
No, he's traumatized.
何が
What do you mean?
トワさんって寒さとか暑さに弱そうだなと思って。
I mean, AG's not too off base, so.
暑さはともかく寒さはそうではないな。
The heat sucks, but
む
the
しろ好
cold's
きな方
actually
だ
not
から。
bad. Okay.
そうなんですか？その割には顔色が悪いです。いや、
AG, come on. AG, please. Please. I needed it. Please. He shrugged like he was playing dumb on purpose.
あ、そうだ。そういえば、榊さんがトワさん
I
に何
don't
か用がある
want
みたい
to
でしたよ。
talk to Sakaki-san. I hate him.
事務所にいると思うんで、時間がある時にでも顔出してみてください。
Is Igarashi at least gonna
そ
be
れじゃ
there?
足止めしちゃってすみません。
One of those two. I'd say AG too, but AG usually doesn't, you know? Give me 1 second, I'm squishing my little peach here. I know that sounds very off topic, but have a little this little reversible Pete plushie I got a few months ago, and it's so cute. But I've been using it as a little like thingy for my desk, so I don't feel uncomfortable, but I didn't want to squish them too much, so I switched to my other cushion. Oh, okay. Oop. That didn't happen. Oh boy. Alright. Anyway, sorry for holding you up. Back into the immersion. AG bobbed his head in a quick bow, and I started walking. Since apparently Sakaki needed to talk to me about something, I decided to swing by Takasato HQ before I went to roost. Before I could walk inside, however, someone else walked out. Come on, man. Oh, you. I was hoping it was someone else. Fujita. Or Igarashi. Even Mataram, I don't care. You know, anyone but you. It was Tono. As soon as he saw me, he narrowed his eyes sharply behind his glasses.
相変わらず死人みたいな顔色だな。
I'm gonna throw this dude in. I haven't seen him in a whole chapter, and I would have liked to have kept it that way, because everything that comes out of the dude's mouth makes me want to smack him. Not in the sexy way. I stared back at him silently.
お前、親父の通夜に出なかっただろ。
Who cares? Who cares about that bum?
今さら線香でもあげに来たのか。
Who cares about that bum?
いや、
実の父親が死んだってのに白状だな。
Who
組を都合って気はなかったのかよ。
about that bum? How many times do I gotta say it to this fool? Don't you want to inherit your father? No! If that was so, Towa would just ask for it. I can't with these. Don't you want to inherit the order? No! Who cares about that bum?
冗談だろ。
At this, he scoffed.
もちろん冗談だ。お前はそんな玉じゃない。俺からしたら病院で働いてるってことですら驚きだ。
This dude is up in my grill. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. Like, you're not funny. I don't care. Like, ugh. Every single time, I just I'll take out the ruler and just knock those glasses off his face. See where we're at then when you can't see. Gosh, I don't know why I get so mad at Tono. Like, homie just triggers me for real, you know? Like, for real. Like, I don't know what it is. I think it's just like To's just minding his own business, and then Tono's just like, you're ugly. I'm like, hello? You look like a sewer rat. But hey, you wanna be my, like, you know, I'm down to like do it with you. Excuse me? Like, catch these hands. Like, you know, I don't even know how to explain it. I just want to fist fight him. Like, you know, I want to do what Ray did to those 11 dudes in the money matches, and that one assault party dude at the deathmatch area. That's what I want to do to Tono. Like, just get out of my face. I'm so sick of this dude, and I always spend all this time just being upset because I have to talk to this dude. I hate Tono so much. I hate him so much. Give me time though. I bet you after like a month or two, I'm gonna be like, I hate this dude so much, and then I'll be okay with him. And then next thing you know, I'll have an acrylic standee. I don't know. Only time can tell. But right now, I hate this dude. He can catch these hands twice. Whew. Okay, let's move on.
ま、せいぜい頑張れよ。お前のところの先生によろしく言っておいてくれ。
You
じゃあ
keep,
な。
you keep my homie's name out of your mouth. Yeah, go. Leave. 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 I hate you. Oh, he clapped me on the shoulder. Don't touch, Towa. Leave. I hate you. Okay. Then climbed into his shiny black car. I glanced over and watched him drive away, and headed into the Takasato office. Inside, it was unusually busy, with gang members racing around to and fro. Yeah, this is the theme. One of them spotted me and stopped short.
Towa, どうした?
Oh, hi, Sakaki crony. What's up?
Sakaki は
奥の部屋だ.
Okay. Smug. Okay, he's smug. With that, he rushed away. So I walked down the hall to Sakaki's study and lightly knocked.
入れ.
Okay. With his permission, I let myself into the room. Sakaki was sitting at a desk in the center of the room. Beside him stood a man in a suit. Fujieda! The man had his back turned, but he looked over at me as I walked in. Fujieda! Ah. I also find peace with Fujieda, but he literally shows up for like a second, you know, every round. He was wearing glasses and his hair was neatly slicked back. Lawyer, probably. With his perfectly pressed suit and flawless posture, he was the total opposite of me in every way. I see where this is going. Naturally, he quickly lost interest in me and turned back to Sakaki.
では、そのように。私はしばらく本土の方にいますので。
The mainland. That white smoke. With a polite bow, the bespectacled man strode from the room without so much a passing glance in my direction.
来客だったんだ。すまねえな。バタバタしててよ。
Sure. Sakaki leaned back in his leather-bound chair and sighed. I could see the exhaustion in the lines of his face.
で、どうした?
ん?
なんか用か?
They said you needed to...
あんたが俺に用があるみたいだって。
Yeah. He nodded in understanding.
元気かと思ってな。どうだ? さっきは。
I don't care. Are you gonna give me money? Like, that's all I care. Like, you know, Towa doesn't care. But if this is all you're gonna ask me about, we're going home.
別に。
そうか。親父の遺産なんだが。
Oh yeah, what are we gonna do this chapter?
いらない。
即答するなよ。もっと真剣に考えろ。
Towa's like, I don't care about this bum.
いらない。
He's like, I'm gonna say it one more time. I repeated myself more firmly. He started to say something but smiled wryly and shook his head.
まあ、お前はそう言うだろうと思ってたがな。困った時はいつでも助ける。
What is his inheritance, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is even his inheritance?
それじゃ違う話だ。お前が引っ掛けた野郎が死んだって聞いたが、
Oh Lord.
大丈夫なのか?
I think he's fine.
何が?
What do you mean? Oh.
責めてるわけじゃねえ。ただ、お前は平気なのかと思っただけだ。
I don't like you. Like, I don't know if canonically you're better than you are in Ray's chapter, but I don't like you right now. I don't want to talk to you.
俺はお前が好き好んで人を殺すような人間だとは思っちゃいねえ。だから何かしらの事情があったんだろう。
But he didn't kill Iguina.
そこを深く探る気はねえよ。ただ気をつけろ。今はどこもかしこも荒れてるからな。
Iguina did it to himself, though.
変な噂も流れてるしよ。お前だって
What?
何に
You
巻
just
き込
gotta
ま
give
れ
me
るか
more
わかんねえ。
information. No wonder Towa doesn't care. Everyone's like, and it's like, how is he supposed to do anything when you guys are just like, well, you know, this and the other. Like, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, you're bothering Towa. He was talking about Iguina, of course. I should have expected him to find out this fast. He seemed to treat me like I was his own son. I didn't want to talk to him about my art, so I just nodded.
話はそれだけだ。わざわざ
That's
来てもらって悪かったな。また面を見せに来てくれ。
Bro, I'm busy. Like, what is he doing here? I didn't especially like Sakaki, but I didn't have anything against him either. He was just a guy who looked out for me. He just wanted to act like a father figure, hence the lecture. So I gently tried not to get on his bad side. Mercy. When I left the study, the office was still swarmed. So I walked out onto the street and headed to Roost. Arriving at Roost, I opened the door and walked in. I walked to the counter where the manager greeted me with a smile as he wiped the glass in his hands.
いらっしゃい、トワ君。
Manager, I'm skilled. My other only place of peace. I inclined my head as I took a seat. A few moments later, Ray spotted me and came straight over.
トワ、大丈夫なの？
I mean, you know, yeah.
ああ。ならいいんだけど。注文はどうする？
What will I have, actually?
お任せで。
Surprise me.
店長、お任せだって。
Okay.
了解。
I pulled my cigarettes and lighter from my coat pocket and set them on the counter. Ray put a hand on the counter and looked at me like he had something to say. What was he saying? As I lit one up, he shook his head.
うん。そういえば新作の絵、ブログに投稿したわよ。
I mean, it
店
should
長が
be.
今回もすごいって褒めてたわ。
It better be homie died for it. Terrible. Once again, he looked like he had something he wanted to say to me.
言いたいことがあるなら言え。
Yeah, just say it, Ray. Just say it, Ray.
言いたいことっていうか、新作の絵を見ながら
Okay.
いろいろ考えちゃって。
Okay.
イクイナさんのこと。
What about the You need to say it, Ray. He shot me a probing look. Then the manager set my drink down in front of me, so I pulled it toward me without looking at Ray.
トワはどんな気持ちでこの絵を描いたのかなって。イクイナさんの何をどう表現してるのかなって。
Iguina was like cutting him up like there was no tomorrow, so.
どうも何も。
With a sidelong glance at him, I took a sip of my drink, then brought my cigarette to my lips as the strong flavor of the whiskey slid down my throat.
いつも通りだ。考えてない。ただ手を動かして描いてる。
That's the truth.
それはそうなんだろうけど。
Oh, bless him. Okay. He frowned like he wasn't quite convinced. I turned my head away to exhale the smoke.
やっぱりこの話はおしまい。
Okay, right. Oh, bless his little heart. Okay. Smiling stiffly, he shook his head.
新しい絵店長がまた店に飾りたいって言ってたから部屋から運んでもいい？
Sure.
うん。
I had no lingering attachment to my finished pieces. They could wind up in the dumpster for all I cared. Oftentimes I wouldn't realize my painting was even missing until I saw it hanging in the bar.
こんばんは、Towa.
Arata! Just then, Arata noticed me as they approached the counter.
あ、ねえ新田。
Arata! Ray looked over like he just remembered something.
ちょっと早いんだけど、そろそろパーティーの買い出しに行こうと思うの。
Christmas party!
手伝うよ。
ありがとう。助かるわ。ってことでトはもうすぐクリスマスパーティーよ。来るわよね。
Maybe. He looked at me for confirmation. Frankly, the annual Roost Christmas party was always obnoxiously loud and cramped, and I never felt the desire to attend. But every year, without fail, I always found myself there. Why, you ask? Because Ray dragged me into it.
今年の飾り付けは何をテーマにしようかしら。去年はトナカイだったのよね。
They should do snow bunnies. Sorry. He's like, what did they do last time? Oh no, they were just wearing different things last time. Like when I actually saw the party go on.
ありきたりだけど、サンタはわかりやすいし。
I don't know about that, honey. I don't agree exactly to that, but
血みどろサンタクロース殺人犯って感じで不敵な意味に包丁を持って
oh yeah, in that
こういう
case,
感じなら
maybe.
面白そう
Yeah, maybe in that case. Meanwhile, I sipped my drink and listened idly. Then I overheard a drunk customer talking a little too loud.
だから伝説だよ伝説。それはもうすごいことなんだって。
Okay, so I was like, I don't think this person is familiar. So.
でもお前見たことないんだろ？なんだっけその真鍋真山？
Oh, is it finally?
なんか違う
I've
な。
only heard Madarame's name like once. Right as I was about to bring my cigarette to my lips, I froze.
まあいいや。見たことはないけど聞いたんだって。とにかくすんげえ強くて。高里組のやつらもそいつには一目置いてたらしいってさ。
Oh boy.
おい、あんまり大声出すなよ。誰が聞いてるかわからない
You're
だろ。
upsetting Towa. You're upsetting my son.
誰に聞かれたって構わねえよ。そういうのかっこいいと思わねえ。
Okay, we get it. You have a fat crush, but that's not my
言われても
problem.
具体的に何やったのか知らないからな。何やったんだよ。
Yeah, give me the tea.
構想で100人を一人で倒したらしいぜ。あと銃で何発も撃たれたのに平然としてて逆に相手をぶっ殺したとか。新孔明を狙ってたって噂の山の組に一人で乗り込んで潰してきたとか。とにかく伝説だらけなんだよ。
それが全部本当だったら確かにすごいけどな。本当かよ、それ。
Is it? No, that's me. Bespectacled patron is me.
さあ、でも伝説とかさ、俺も一度でいいから呼ばれてみてえな。
Bro, I could sit on you. And you know, it wouldn't take much. As man loudly slurred his speech, I found myself growing ever so slightly irritated. Normally, I had no interest in other people's conversations. Right now, I was in a terrible mood.
ごめんね。今日はなんだか賑やかなお客さんが来てるんだ。
Yeah, I can see that. The manager whispered guiltily, like he picked up on my anger. I answered brusquely, then looked around the room. I spotted a guy drinking alone, so I rose to my feet, walked over, and sat down across from him. He looked at me in alarm. I smiled faintly back at him.
トは
But before I could say a word, someone called my name. Clucking my tongue, I looked in the direction of the voice. Yeah, it was right.
何やってるのよ。
He's talking. He's
一緒に飲まないかって誘
socializing.
おうとしただけだけど。
He's just socializing.
もう今は体が弱ってるんだから無理しないようにって言ったでしょ。
He's like, you cannot flirt right now. You can't go out right now. He nagged me like he was my mom, then bowed to the other guy.
ごめんなさいね。ほらとはカウンター席へ戻って。
Ray's like, go back to the corner. Go back to your spot. You cannot go out right now. You cannot go be seeing dudes right now. Okay? You cannot be seeing dudes right now. No dudes for you. No boys. He shooed me off. Reluctantly, I rose to my feet. When I returned to the counter, I found that the cigarettes I had left in the ashtray had burned nearly to the filter. I took one last drag, then put it out. Next, I grabbed my glass and had a sip of whiskey. The reason I went to talk to that guy was to distract myself from my frustration. Part of it was triggered by the loud drunk's conversation, but that there was more to it than that. It was the same motivation that led me to take on a new art model right after painting. I was trying to shake the strange discomfort smoldering in my gut. I would settle for anyone if they could shake the impalpable malaise from my system. But now I wasn't even allowed that small comfort. So I raised my glass and drowned my rage in whiskey. Slow damage. Ah, let's go. Let's go. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, not the back alley. This is not the back alley. When Roos closed for the night, I stumbled down the street in the direction of the clinic. Turned out getting drunk was a lot more intense when your body was already fatigued. Ray had offered to drive me home after he finished cleaning the bar, but I turned him down. Fortunately, even the freezing temperature outside wasn't enough to sober me up. As I walked along staring at the ground and exhaling white fog, a dark shadow blocked out the light of the street lamp. Oh. Right as I looked up, I bumped into someone. Who's this? His hood was too low for me to see his face. Okay, well, first of all, I've never seen this figure before. I'm not gonna assume it's Madarame. It could be anybody, but this is definitely a new homie, a new acquaintance. As my intoxicated brain struggled to process this, out of nowhere sparks flew behind my eyelids. A beat later, I felt the hot impact against my cheek and realized he had punched me. I saw him draw his arm back for another punch. Before I could connect, I instinctively lashed out with a punch of my own. My fist hit his face, but he didn't even blink. Despite how drunk I was, or because of it, I had swung as hard as I could. He grabbed my shoulders and shoved me hard. Unable to brace myself, I landed flat on my back on the ground. He straddled my hips and began to wail on me. What is going on? You need to calm down, sir. Ma'am, sir. Sir, ma'am. Whatever you prefer. Sir, ma'am. Ma'am, sir. Non-binary enemy friend. Homie. I took 3 hits to the face, then he stopped like he was waiting for my reaction. Instantly, I realized he wasn't attacking with his full strength. If anything, he was just messing with me. My eye fixed on him, I smirked at him defiantly. Ooh, he said, you better work. I couldn't see his face beneath his hood, but I saw his navy blue smoke darken slightly. This is Madarame. The text is blue. Yeah. Frankly, this seemed like the perfect opportunity. I'd endured something gnawing at me ever since I finished that last painting. When I tried to distract myself with a one-night stand, Ray stopped me. Now, for the first time in a long time, I had swung back when someone hit me. Getting my booty kicked was the best distraction I could possibly ask for. I saw him raise his fist and eagerly awaited the next blow. But just then I heard footsteps approaching from somewhere. It sounded like a group of people was heading our way. The man leapt off me and dashed away. In a blink, he vanished down the alley and into the darkness.
なんだ
Kotaro!
か
There's Kotaro and Mayu. When they recognize me, they stop short.
こんなところで何やってる？酔って寝てた？
I was getting my booty whooped.
転んだんだよ。転んだ？そのまま寝てるの？
Ooh! Mayu went there.
なんだてっきり噂の幽霊にでもあって驚いて腰抜かしたんだと思ったぜ。
Oh, he saw the ghost. Or is the ghost... The ghost isn't Iguina, right? The ghost is... Is the ghost Madarame? He quirked a brow at me playfully.
最近あちこちで聞くんだよ。幽霊が出るって噂。そんなくだらねえ話当然信じていないけどな。
Okay.
確かにくだらないな。
幽霊はどうでもいいんだけどよ。今 A トックが荒れてんだ。巡回してる組の連中が何人かやられたりしてよ。
It's your boy.
ま、この時期はお祭り騒ぎに便乗するアホが出てくるからな。
True.
ああ、早く家に帰って魔女魔女マジョリンの総集編見たいよ。ほんとこの時期は面倒なんだよね。
Priorities, Mayu got priorities.
うるせえ。アニメオタクは黙ってろ。
ひどいね。
As Mayu pouted his lips, Kotaro crouched down beside me.
で、なんでずっと寝そべってんだ？骨でも折れて起き上がれねえのか？それとも襲われます？
Seduction dick, please. Please, sir. He smirked at me.
その気があるんなら乗ってやってもいいぜ。
Oh, okay. But I averted my gaze and sat upright.
気分じゃない。
あっそ。
My color was like, okay. He straightened up and ruffled.
んじゃまた気分が乗った時にな。行くぞ、マヤ。
Whatever you say. He tapped Mayu's leg with his foot, then plunged both hands into his jacket pockets and walked off.
Towa, ほいじゃん。
Bye. Hujian? Hujian? Is it Hujian? Not Hujian, it's Hujian. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. With a wave, Mayu hurried after Kotaro. I sat on the ground and watched them go for a spell, then slowly pushed myself up to my feet. Kotaro was always game for fist fights or violent. You know what's. But I had something else in my mind right now. The man who attacked me just now, he seemed like a skilled fighter. He barely broke a sweat. But if those were his half punches, then what would his real punches feel like? Unfortunately, I didn't know who he was or how to fight him. I sucked in a lungful of cold air to clear my head. After that, I was ready to head back to the clinic. A strange burning smell roused me, and I opened my eye. Shrieks and angry shouts, people running. I felt something cold pressed against my cheek, and I realized I was lying face down on the ground. When I tried to push myself up, an intense pain shot through my face. I froze in place. The right side of my face, the area around my eye, was throbbing and burning. Reflexively, I reached up to touch my eye. My fingers came away red. It was blood. An ear-splitting gunshot rang out, and I looked over. In my dusty vision, I saw a figure swaying. The large silhouette crashed onto his back on the floor, and our eyes met. It was a man I recognized. His eyes were blank like marbles, and I could see the life draining from his face. As I stared at him unblinking, I heard someone else run off. I could barely see him out of the corner of my vision. I recognized him too. It was? In the distance, I could see the moon hanging in the sky. It was a full moon that night. Oh good, he's back at home. I forced my heavy eyelids open and wrestled myself out of the dream's clutches. Blinking rapidly, I attempted to determine whether the ceiling above me was reality. My head felt heavy, like it was filled with lead. The room felt like it was spinning, or maybe it was literally spinning. I couldn't tell. I laid an arm over my eyes and waited for the strange feeling to pass. Minutes ticked by. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe more. Eventually the spinning stopped and I started to get up. I looked around and gasped. I wasn't in my room at all. I was outside. I can remember making it back home and flopping down on the sofa with my coat still on. So when did I leave again? Why did I leave again? My whole body was slick with sweat. My temperature was plummeting. How did I get here? Wasn't I just asleep? I was near the deathmatch area. What was I doing here? Did I sleepwalk or something? Pressed a hand to my mouth and ran it down my chin. Then I closed my eye, and after a few deep breaths, I reached up and touched my eye patch. Instantly, a flashback hit me. A vision of my finger stained red with blood from my eye, blood dripping down my neck, the right side of my face burning like molten lead, my eye socket throbbing, gunshots, the man who collapsed, the man who ran away. The full moon burned into my retinas. It was all a dream. Dream I had on the way here. With a frustrated sigh, I shook the memory of the unpleasant dream from my mind. There was no point in staying here. Staggering, I headed to the clinic. Slow damage. Really do be slow damage for real. Alright. We are saved and in. Oh boy, it is buck wild today, huh? Gosh, it takes forever to see Madarame, huh? He's just like the most mysterious figure in this entire game. Like, I haven't even seen his face yet. I'm just assuming it's him because Towa's just like, oh, the dark blue, the navy blue smoke. And I'm like, the letters are blue. It's him. So, oh, wow. This chapter said, you thought you knew, you didn't. So, okay, wow, that was something. Okay, so the entire tone of the game has changed. Because Iguina lived in the first two routes, but Madarame's route, Iguina dies. So it's very interesting to see where we're gonna go from here. Also, I don't know anything about Madarame, so I don't know. Like, I'm like, what am I supposed to expect? Like, you know, it's like I don't know anything. I've only heard his name like twice from the characters so far. Because Towa avoids his name at all costs, is what or like the subject of Madarame. So interesting. Yeah, Madarame seems like one of those guys again, but we'll see. Like I said, hey, I might grow to be fond of Madarame, but it could also go the opposite. So, alright, thank you guys. I think this will conclude today's episode. I will continue in part 17. Sorry this was a little short today. You know, it felt long recording, but I think it's just because we were trying to like get through the intro and the little easy bits and the stuff that doesn't show up in the other in the first two playthroughs, etc. So yeah, honestly, it's It's been a time. But yeah, next time we're gonna try and get this Madarame. But Towa seems to be having what do you call it? Reminders of Le Pas that he does not remember because he's partially memory lost it. You know, she. Wow. Okay. He's having flashbacks. Anyway, I think it's time to go. All right. Don't forget, everybody. If you want more boys love related media, please don't forget about my podcast. You Can Smooch Tho, my podcast about all things boys love and other related items. Season 1 is up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and hopefully coming soon to YouTube podcasts as well. We'll figure it out, you know what I'm saying? Thank you again for joining me today. I always appreciate it, and like I said, I always have fun with Slow Damage, despite the stress it gives me. And the high blood pressure rising consistently. But thank you, stay happy, stay healthy, stay well. Thank you again, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their evening. Thank you again, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Night-night.